Akaniambia ukipata bora warudishe the 13,000. So zile zenye mkatari amenitoa nazo Kenya zirudishwe. Nikamwambia sawa. In fact akaniambia since you've been here nitakukatia mpaka 7,000. So wewe kama utapata sponsor arudishe hizi pesa. Nikaanza sasa kutafuta. Kuingia kwa hizo website, kazi ziko hivi. Zimechana, they are genuine. My kids walikuwa sawa. I would make sure wako smart. Unasikia smart to a point of I remember nishai like mtu ashai nitusi because of kuweka watoto wangu smart. Because I knew it's me. It's me and it's me. I don't want them to tell me, why did you take us out of our dad's place? I would sikutaka kusikia that name one day for us to come and be like this. No. Na nikikosa place ya kulala, naenda tu hivyo na lala tu kwa hizo. Ama tunaenda tu mahali nakaa. Or I go visit some of my school friends. Tunapiga story. Anakwambia acha nikuzindikishe. I even forgot about my mom. So what I used to do is I would go collect the plastics during the weekend, go sell. That is how I could cater for the school. By that time I was saying like in the future, if God gives me a daughter, I'll never say such a thing to my daughter. I'll tell my daughter this, but I'll find the right way to tell her.
Watching High Step TV.
The Bond Show. Beautiful people, godly bonds.
Hello Bonding Nation. Welcome to The Bond Show, where we discuss matters dating, courtship, marriage, parenting, and divorce. Karibu sana to the show. If you are new here, kindly click on the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we upload new content. And also remember to give us a thumbs up so that we know that you like our content. Of course, we take a lot of time preparing such kind of content and we would want to get your feedback on the same. Also, you can send your queries and your questions via my social media handles, which are Helen_Kibali and Helen Kibali on all my social media platforms. Feel free to send any question, and in the next shows, we'll be answering all your questions. Karibu sana to the show. Today, we are excited to have a very wonderful and unique guest on our show today. And I would want you to think about this. What would you give? How much would you give for your kids? How much sacrifice would you give for your kids to see them successful, to see them grow, to see them go to school? What amount of sacrifice would you give? Our next guest is one woman who has sacrificed almost all her life for her kids. Without wasting a lot of time, kindly help me welcome our guest on the show. Karibu sana.
Asante. Yeah.
Kindly introduce yourself to our guest, to our viewers today.
Okay, my name's Sophia Ayako Amimo, but mostly I like calling myself Sophia Amimo. And my late dad is Amimo.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a mother of 3.
3?
Yes.
You don't look like you have 3.
I'm a mother of 3. I give thanks to God. Most important, I'm born again. Yeah. And I always say yani nimeokolewa na damu ya Yesu. Nimeitwa kwa jina lake na nimekombolewa kwa damu yake. And in everything that we do in life, Christ ndio mwisho wa kila kitu. Ndiye mwanzo na mwisho. So if you don't have Christ, you don't have life. Yeah.
Karibu sana to the show.
Asante.
Feel free. And we are privileged today and we are happy to have you on the show.
Asante.
I know our viewers are eagerly waiting to learn from your testimony, from your life experience, and also probably you have 1 or 2 words you'd want to say to our guests today. I know they are attentive and they're going to listen to you and also give us feedback on what they've learned from you. So guys, welcome to the show. I am your host, Helen Kibali, and let us proceed with today's topic. Of course, I know you know. If you know, you know that today is about parenting.
The Bone Show. Beautiful people, godly bonds.
But before we do, we want to acknowledge our sponsors today, which is High Step TV and High Step Media. Kindly reach them through their social media handles, which are High Step TV on YouTube, High Step TV on Facebook, and High Step TV on Instagram.
This is High Step Media Production.
Je, wewe ni msanii na ungependa kuchukua hatua kabambe katika kuboresha usanii wako? Je, wewe ni msanii mpya usiyejua utaanza vipi katika kufanikisha usanii wako? Je, wahitaji kufanyiwa video za harusi, matukio, dokumentari, au pia kutengenezewa filamu na kupigwa picha? iStep Media ina majibu kwa masuala haya yote kwa bei rahisi. Tutembelee pale Homeland au wasiliana nasi kwa njia ya simu kupitia nambari 0706299166. Karibu.
Kazi yao wanafanya ni kazi nzuri sana. Nimefurahia sana kazi ambao wanafanya.
Come to iStep Media Production. You never know, you can be a star of tomorrow.
iStep Media, kwanza wana upendo, ni wakarimu sana. Na kama ni wakarimu, ndio maana tumefika hapa tumefika.
If you are in need of any video coverage, be it an occasion, wedding, birthday parties, live coverage, whatever it is, they're the best people to reach. Also, a big shout out to the people who've dressed me today, who are Kibalis. Reach them on their social media platforms, which is Kibalis on Instagram, Kibalis on Facebook, and like their pages. Asante sana.
You're watching High Step TV.
Asante sana.
Okay.
Kindly tell us, take us back to when you were a little girl.
Okay.
Say class 8 there, and you are looking now forward to life. Tell us more about that.
Okay, so, okay. Should I start from class 8 or when I was a little girl?
Wherever you felt like now I'm ready to start life.
Okay, okay. Let me just say or start with my family. That is my mom, my dad. Okay, we are blessed to be like a polygamous. I come from a polygamous family. My dad had 2 wives. But for me, I'm the last born, of which I think I would just be frank, I never knew about all that. I just knew most about my mom. And from a big family, we were like, we were far from where my dad is born. So we stayed most in Mount Elgon, those sides, until clashes. So we had to separate. Okay, I have survived. Like during the clashes, we were scattered. After that is like I can remember my sister was like like 4 years, and I was 2. So my mom could not like say angeshika huyu ashike huyu ashike huyu. So we just know like we are standing besides the road, and tumesimama tu pale. We don't know what to do, and I remember it was a highway. Huko ni kichaka, so kale ka path tu tulitokelezea hapo, ndio tumesimama. So we waited. As kids we were waiting for our mom. We just knew she's coming, so we waited there. But it's evening, so where should we go? We just go back. We start tulianza going back with the path again. Sasa yes, kuna vita, but we don't know what to do. So we just had to go back, and from there, because it's a long story, I'll just make it short. We went back to kulikuwa tuna nyumba, and we went there and slept there. So we started surviving from that point. waiting for our mom. We stayed for some time, I don't know ilikuwa for how long, but we just stayed there until one day there was one young man, and we saw him and he saw us, and he said he was like he knew us and he knew my mom. So this guy alikuwa anafanya kazi ya matatu, so every day he would come for us, take us to town, that is he would take us to Kitale town, and from there they knew my mom. My mom used to sell this kangumu, there we call kangumu, so they knew hawa ni watoto, yes, hawa ni watoto wa mama ule wa kangumu, so they would feed us. Then in the evening the same guy, he was like 16, you just come again, take us back, tunalala. Sometimes if he will not show up, tutaenda tutafute like hizi nderema. We have really tumekula nderema sana sana, so we just go to maybe the river, we take this nderema, we can boil and eat until one day, to make the story short, it was around 3 a.m. we heard somebody knocking, and to open the door, actually I told my sister somebody's knocking, and we had SAUD, that's our mom. So kufungua mlango, we were so happy. I remember like niliruka from down to here. I remember miguu zangu zikiingia hivi kwa mom. Sijui niliruka aje, but mimi nakumbuka tu kutoka chini mpaka juu. Nikamshika hivyo, and she said we have to go because still kulikuwa na hiyo vita. Until I think up to date unasikianga uko vita hizo. So that is when she took us, and tulipelekwa mpaka sasa where my dad is. And on that naweza sema pia vita si nzuri, especially now this year again you find that you unaanza hata kushake, but by the grace of God kutakuwa tuna peace in our nation, because if you have been through that, you know what peace and what clashes could bring, because we had to separate. Before our mom came, we went through a lot, because I remember tuliajiriwa, tulikuja tukachukuliwa mpaka we were taken to this woman that we have to work for her. Imagine, as little as we were, ati ametuajiri kazi with no food, with nothing, you're forced to work, of which you know you will not even be paid. Who employs a 4-year-old? You can imagine. So we went through a lot, and we pray for peace. So from there is when we went to our dad. From there again, I don't know what happened. Our mom again is no more. But I still give thanks to God for that.
She died?
No. We just woke up and she was not around. Yeah.
She went away?
Yeah, she went away. Then again.
So, your mom, you went back to your dad. Then your mom goes away.
Yeah.
You're left with your dad.
Yes.
Did you go through school?
So I was still young, I'm small, because and it was also my first time like to see where my dad came from, or the homeland. That is my grandfather's. So, and during our time, tulikuwa tunaingia shule mapema sana. So, and I couldn't ask, like I just asked like, where is mom? And that was it. And since we are many, actually we were many, so my elder sisters and brothers were there to take care of me, and there was no much, but I could sense like my mom is not around. So from there, and that is when I stayed for some time, and I was taken to school just next, because there is a nursery school. It's a walking distance, not far from the house. So I was taken to school for some time. And then after that time again, I saw my elder brother coming home. No, before my brother came, okay, something happened. My mom came back. After my mom coming back, we all our siblings again came. Then it happened that my sister died. Our first born died. And it was just mysterious. After some time again, another one follows. Again, it scared my mom. And again she left. Because you can imagine, we just came and one after the other, losing kids at the same time. Then also from my other mom, it happened the same, to a point of she's left with one child. So my mom was so angry and she left. Even I remember when our sister, another sister died, mysterious, out of headache. And I remember I was the one again left at home, because sasa mimi ndio kadogo. Wale wengine wote wakienda, mimi nabaki hapo nitacheza mpaka warudi. So I saw my sister vomiting. Some things like, I don't know. She called me and told me like, can you try to pull me outside? Then I'm like, how am I going to pull you? Because she was 19 na niko huko 3. So I tried. I don't know how I did it, but I just was trying. I think she was also, and God was helping us, because I'm trying to pull her. So I pulled her, and there now she's with the back. She's like hanging. Unajua vile zile nyumba za nyumbani hujengwa, it's a little bit high, so the head is like hanging like this, and the rest of the body is inside. And luckily it was around 7. I saw my dad coming. So my dad came, and I think before she arrived at the hospital, she was already dead.
What was the cause?
They just said headache and like a needle. She's like, they found like she stepped on the needle, and the needle, I don't really, and we didn't ask much. Me, the next thing I know is everyone, our home, no sasa ushago, is filled, watu wamejaa, people know how lawyers, yeah, they cry, and I'm just wondering again. And when they called my mom, I think she got into depression, and she couldn't even come. So after everything, the burial,
She didn't come for the burial.
And after that is when again.
And it was your sister who died?
Yes, it was my sister.
And she didn't come?
No, she couldn't. Yeah, she was communicating, but she couldn't. And that is where I think we say there is witchcraft. It exists. And by God's grace, we survived.
So you've lost how many sisters and brothers?
We are supposed to be 16, but now we are 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
9.
So you can imagine up to date what my mom goes through. Yeah. And it almost like finished her like through alcohol. But not like how people do drink and will be going around. No, she would just drink and sleep. Yeah.
She was depressed.
She was depressed.
Out of losing all these
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
Yes. And I know probably I've had issues in the village, even in our home village, where someone dies or something happens to someone, and then the whole family or even the villagers are on your case, like you're the cause. It is your fault that this happened. Was that the case for your mom?
Okay, the case for my mom is, okay, my dad, from what I've heard, my grandfather loved my dad. My dad was the last born, of which in African, the last born inherits the land where the father had built the house. But instead, his brother came and settled in that land.
So it was a land dispute.
Yes. And what they never knew is that we were there, because my mom stayed in Mount Elgon. That is where she had settled, like with my dad and everything. And by God's grace, they were very successful. Very. Before the clashes, we had everything. And they had bought lots of lands, pia huko. So what I think the brothers and people in the village or in the area never knew is that we existed, we were there. And they never thought that my dad had so many children. Yes. So they just see, like, one day we are all back. And
now they think that you are back for the land. Yes. Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Which was never the case. My mom had no interest. If she had interest, that is where we would find ourselves. But you see, and she was very hardworking. When it comes to business, she's very good. So she decided, like, wacha twende tutafute. And they were very okay. So we land home, and they just see, like, we came for the land. And here, one by one, we just today so what made my mom so, and us, very angry, and we just, like, decided this is not a place to be, is my brother now started with headache again. He just says, I have headache. Before we know it, he's somewhere there at the tree. There's a tree there. Like, he's going. We were like, no. And I remember saying, like, no, God, you cannot allow this. Now, my dad, like, from my mother, he has, like, only 3 sons from my dad. So we were like, we had only, like, 3, but we have another firstborn, of which my dad married my mom with. So we were like, no. And to us, he was like, he's the first son of our father. He cannot just die. And we decided no. And that is when now when my mom heard that, okay, my mom said this. All this was happening because they were after her. So that everything could be ishe kabisa. And that is why, like, she had to stay away. Yeah. So when we called Rani, the information reached her that my brother is really sick to a point of death. He said no. And on top of that, my other brother was attacked by the cousins. And now they are coming with this machete. Wengine wamemuuma. Yani, so you can imagine the whole family fighting one person. And now this brother now was the one, like, now when my mom was not around, ni yeye alijitoa akaacha shule. So he was the one, like, looking for what we will eat and everything. So now wakajua sasa huyu, and he was loved. And he was named after our grandfather. So wakajua huyu ndio kwanza tutamaliza. Sasa they attacked him, they want to kill him. So he had to run through there. By God's grace akatorokea mlango ya nyuma kwa mandizi. He went. Sasa we are just again left there. Mom is not there. Dad alikuwa ameenda wapi? Sasa si tujui tufanye nini. But he went for some time and came back. Gave us some money like to feed on and everything. So I can't even tell you where this other brother alitorokea again. And one day now this elder brother that I told you my mother came for me. And he took me with him to the family. So tukawa na tunaishi na yeye pale in Nakuru. Yeah, we went to Nakuru. We stayed with, it was in, they were employed by the former son's President Moi. Jonathan. So walikuwa naishi Kambuko. Yeah, that is where I stayed there with my brother for some time. And again, still I used to like to think of my mom.
And it didn't ever occur to your mom that when she was leaving, every time she was leaving, she would go with at least one or two of you, the youngest ones. She didn't want to take you along.
Okay, I don't know why, but to me, I think she thought it was better. Maybe it will be easy for her than when maybe one of us is around. Na maybe okay, unaweza kuwa utenda kuajiriwa kazi, ushindo utaanzia wapi? Na unaona bado I was like 3-4 hapo. So maybe even if she thought maybe to go with me, I don't know much, but I have never.
So at what point did you now start schooling?
Okay, after all this in Nakuru, I stayed there. I'm not going to school. So one day I was very sick. I felt sick. My ear had a problem, and I was in pain, but nobody could understand. I'm telling them I'm in pain, and I didn't see any much action taken. And truly God answers prayers, and that is when every time I was in pain, I would think of my mom. So I'm in pain, I'm telling God, if only I could see an angel like right now. And I was carrying my brother's son, like you know how kwa mgongo, and the ear is paining. So that I'm standing there, they are in the farm, and it's hot, and you can imagine. So here I see someone next. I'm like dreaming, or it's true. It's my mom. That same day. And also the other time when she came for us, we were in pain. And that's the time she appeared. And this time around she comes for me. She came and said, I'm not even spending the night. I came to visit, and I'm taking Sophia. So she took me. And that is how I find myself now in Nairobi, Wiki. That was the first place. And I stayed with my mom, but she was still struggling with alcohol. And only to find my brother also here in Nairobi. Yeah, the one that they tried to cut with machete. And the other brother came later. So we stayed with my mom for some time, and I told her I need to go to school. But surprisingly, I can say that God is faithful again. I could read. I could take storybooks. Because when my brother was there, he could come with some books, small, the kids' story books. But when I look at the books, I could read. I don't know how. And I took those books with me. So when we came to Nairobi Mwiki, and I asked my mom, when am I going to school? She told me, you will go. But I will say this, I understood my mom. Even if I was little, I understood my mom. And I knew my mom was struggling with something. And seeing all my siblings dying, I knew it was not easy for my mom. And maybe that is why she was drinking, but she never my mom never forgot that I'm there. She would make sure that I've eaten. Even if she will drink today and get drunk, I would just sit and watch. I would just be looking at her. In the morning, she would wake up with it. I think she would just
guilt.
Yes, she'd go buy food, buy everything, cook for me, and that is it. And maybe I just go play. And she didn't have much. And you can imagine, she had lunch, she had these kids, and now nothing. We are now we are renting in one room. So she started with the same business again, mandazi, njugu, these groundnuts, and samosa. So just cook in the house and take out in the market. And that was it. After some time, I just see we are again in, she cannot afford rent. Okay, I think we were robbed. I remember because she used to put this 5 shilling makobole, this kubwa kubwa in a kasuku somewhere. So one day we came home, there was nothing. Yes, I remember. Then we are now we don't have money to pay rent and what, we have to move. We were kicked out of the house. Na mekanda unga, ndio apike sasa tena. Na hizi unga, I remember, alikopa. Ndio tupike, tupate pesa tena tuinuke, tuweze kupata rent and everything. So we were kicked out of it. With that unga, we had to carry that unga. We came to Githurai. Only coming there, we don't know where we are going. We don't, ajatafuta nyumba. But she's telling me we are just going to the house. I'm telling her, where are we going? Tunaenda kwa nyumba. So we came and stood on hapo tu njiani. There is a place called St. Augustine at Githurai Kimbo. We just stood there. And she went on kwa plot somewhere there. And the next thing she's telling me, come. We entered an empty house, ilikuwa tu hapo. And she told me this is where we are going to stay. So I don't know how she negotiated with the owner ama the caretaker, but that is how we found ourselves there. That same day, somebody called my mom. I am from that area. Yani. He came and said, niliwaona mmekuja hapa, nyinyi ni wageni. Kuna lady amejenga nyumba hapa chini. Anataka mtu wa kulalisha that house today because ameweka dirisha mpya. Sijui mtaonaje. My mom said, okay, can we go and see the house? That is how we got another house. So, and I give thanks to God. And we were given that place. Sasa kuchunga that place, it became a testimony or a story. And the lady could come check how the house is, the owner now. But after some time, we never saw her again. And it has been years. And that is now, we remained there. She again came again. And she told my mom, you can stay here. And she left. We never saw her again. And then that is the place now nimegrowia hapo. So how I went to school is I used to see 10 our kids going to school. So there was one friend of mine called Mary. Mary asked me, Sophie, why is it that you don't go to school? And I said that I really want to go to school, but I don't know why my mom still hasn't taken me to school. But she told me when we come here from Wiki, she will take me to school. And I'm waiting. But I said, what are the requirements in your school? she told me our uniform is navy blue and white. And you need books. And per month is 150. And I'm like, 150. On Saturday, we used to like collect plastics and everything and sell. And I'm like, I usually get that money. So if I get this money this Saturday, I can take myself to school. So I told Mary, on Monday we are going together. Is it okay? She said yes. I went to, by then there were many bones huku kwa vichaka, and plastics were not much, but bones zilikuwa mingi since still akujajengwa. You can count the houses around. So we are in the middle pia pale. So we went and collected the bones. Still by that time kulikuwa na hii Kenyatta Dam. It was still there. The hippos were still there. So we went and collected the bones, went and sold the bones. Githurai hit this market. It was like things were very cheap. So I went and bought a black skirt, a white shirt, and the money that I had sold that day. And then I know 150 is what is needed. But I think I bought so much that I spent almost all the money. So I was left with something like 70 shillings. So on Monday morning, I'm with Mary. We went to school, and I told the head teacher that my mom told me to come, and she will come around break time. So the head teacher asked me, so which class are you joining? And I'm like, class 3. Is class 3? I said yes, but are you sure about it? I said yes. And how old are you? And I told him I'm 7. No, 6 or 7. So that I was taken to class. I said, this class is kind of hard for me. And the next day, I tell the teacher, I think it is class 1. I'm supposed to be in class 1, not class 3. My mom told me it's class 1. She's still coming. So I was taken to class 1. And that term, I became number 1. Yes, I've not been, because at up country or in the village, I only studied for not for long. So I didn't go much through PP1 or nursery or this. It's like I joined class 1. So from there, the head teacher loved me, and he even forgot about my mom. So what I used to do is I would go collect the plastics. During the weekend, go sell. That is how I could cater for the school. And I thank God, because in those days we were disciplined. With all this that is happening, I respect my mom. I obey what she tells me. When she tells me, like in the morning, you play with your friends. Make sure this time of the hour you are here. And if you miss, you know the consequences. So I'd even if she's drunk and she cannot, I would even go look for her. Because maybe I would think hata iza kuvuka ile daraja. So let me go check. I'll go look for her and find that she's somewhere. If we cannot go home, we'd rather spend the night there. Me watching the whole night. Mekatu hapo na muangalia. And I was like, I wouldn't want anyone to take advantage of my mom, because what she has been through is a lot. And maybe when she was young, I don't know what happened to her. So I would stay there until even morning. Sometime maybe, I remember one day she left me selling njugu. I think she forgot about me. So it's around 12. My mom hajakuja. Everyone amefunga soko. Niko pale tu. Masoko nimeketi. And I'm like, where's my mom? I said, I cannot stay here. But all this, even when it was happening, I never told my brothers or anything. No. And I went to look for her. So I was going from one bar to another. One bar to another. The ones that are around there. I'm afraid, but if I sense that I cannot go inside here, I would ask someone from outside, can you please go check if there is someone who looks like this there. Tell her to come outside. So I never like saw her. So I stayed at the market till morning. She'll find me there. She'll just come find, because I was like, if I move from this place, maybe she'll not locate me. So I'll just stay here where I was selling. And God was faithful. Nothing happened to me. She came, I don't know around what time, and she asked me, you are still here? I said, yes, I'm still here. I told her, do you have the key? Give me the key. I took the key and I told her, let's go home. Went home. So that is how it was until there's so many things happened that I cannot tell like all. Another thing, I can thank God that I have survived. Mnasikia watu kula watu. Yes, that one we have survived. When you hear like people are taken for rituals, it is true. And I can say all this happened, but I think the angels of the Lord were taking care of us. Because I remember we have been to a point of me and my sister, we were taken somewhere for it to be sacrificed. But my sister told me, I will do something like distract them and you run. I don't know what she did. When I was just about to run, we are still little. We saw we were taken actually to a dumping site, waste dumping site, where all this sewage is napelekwa. Just when it is about like, we saw them doing negotiation, even the money, them exchanging the money, and now we are to be taken. We saw now this zinaitwa disposing cars, hizi kubwa kubwa coming, ndio hiyo inachomoka tu. And these people had to run away, and we also had to run and disappeared into the maze. Kulikuwa na kando kumepandwa mahindi. That is how God ali to save.
Wow.
At also age I think 8, I also survived rape. Yes. When we were just playing in this, where I went to hide, ndio huyu jamaa alikuwa na ni mtu mzima tu. So he's there like amenishika. And as like I just knew, even if you don't know, you just know. So he's just like trying to
remove your clothes.
Him venye tu nilimuona tu. And I'm inside nasema tu si akina nani waniite ama wakuje wanitafute. Hata like kwa nini nilikuja kujificha hapa?
You could not scream.
I could not scream. Walikuwa wamenibeba hivi.
Okay.
So by God's grace, sasa wale wamenitafuta wamechoka. Wakasema hapana, twendeni tutafute Sophia. Wanasema Sophia, mali umejificha, si utokee basi. Utakuwa umeshinda. You know how Brikicho is. Utakuwa tu umeshinda. Sababu tunakutafuta hatukupati. So they luckily niseme tu ni God. Wakakuja. So this guy akanirusha na akaenda. That is how niliokolewa from that rape. You cannot forget, unaona huyu ni mwanaume vile yako, uko mdogo, yani I think when they hear the stories, when they will hear of some things actually, my mom even doesn't know. Nobody knows in my family.
And these people who wanted to take you for rituals, yeah, where had they found you? They came for you in the house or outside?
No, this one I had forgotten. And you may remember venye nimesema, like God ametusaidia, ametuokoa vitu mingi, surviving rape and surviving that, it was back in huko when my mom was not around. So tukiwa tunacheza, sinaona watu wanawa monitor. They know kuna watoto wawili pale wanaishingi peke yao. Sasa si hapo ndio business ilifanyika. And you know from there kuingia Uganda ni Uganda ama ni Tanzania, si mbali. Ni hapo tu. Mnachukuliwa tu na mnapelekwa. Yeah, even my brother, we have a brother that ali survive from these people that you hear again wanakula watu. Kiwa wame drum ndio ile imechemshwa maji kila kitu sasa hivyo. Yeah.
And God saved
all of us. Yes, God saved all of us. And now here in Nairobi, nikawa naenda shule vizuri. My mama akiendelea tu kurecover. Not that alikuwa naenda tena ile she was just doing her business and tukiendelea as she struggles hiyo kitu because akishika tu pesa hivi alikuwa tu na. And then you will notice when she's drunk she would sing about my sisters. So we just knew that is what is inamsumbua. So
the ones that died. Oh,
yes.
That must have been painful.
Very painful. You can imagine losing a 19-year-old. You can imagine right now angekuwa how old? Right now. Ukuje upoteze mtu akona 14 years. Saizi angekuwa, and they were so beautiful. Very beautiful.
That was now as a result of the depression.
Yes. Okay. So I schooled my headmaster actually. I just thank God for the family. He was Mr. Luangu. He came and understood how my family, how I am now with my situation. So he focused more on my grades than what I go through or the money. He never focused like atanifukuza shule ama nini, hapana. Aliacha tu niendelee.
Okay.
Yes, so nikasoma and one day nikakutana na mama moja. I call her auntie up today. So this lady nilikuwa na shida I think na kifua hivi. So nilikuwa kila sana kuwa na running nose. So akakuja akauliza my mom, is it okay if she can take me to the hospital niangaliwe shida inaweza kuwa nini? Nini? And hivyo ndio tulienda na yeye kwake, na hivyo ndio nikakaa na yeye for some time until pia mimi sasa nikaanza kujiulizanga vile sasa nilikaa huko. I would ask I still miss my mom. Even though she's evil, I want her. So I was just like, I just want to stay with her the way she is. And she was like, where you are better. And I'm like, where I am, I still want you. So tukawa na hiyo bishana. And I started asking myself, why is it that she don't want me to stay with her? And nikifika around class 7, Mungu alinisaidia by the way, nikashika church kabisa. And tunaenda hizo crusades, nikiendelea I joined junior youth from Sunday school. I joined junior youth and by God's grace kanisani unajua kuna watu jitoa, like maybe you are going for a crusade mbali, cannot afford, somebody will just stand and say nitasimamia Sofia sibaki, mkipiga hesabu mumweke ndani. Hivyo tukiendelea, so tumeingia sautini. So tukiingia hapo kuna some things that I don't want to go deep, but kuna vitu hazikunifurahisha inside me that I had from auntie. So one day she's like, umeanza kukua msichana, ukianza kucheza and saizi unajua akili yako haiko pale. And this is to all parents. Kucheza imanishi, okay, kuna some words mtu hapendi kuambiwa. Kama sasa unanitajia kitu is not in my mind, siifikiri, unajua itaanza sasa nitakaa chini nianze kuifikiria, na siifikiri kwa njia ambayo najuza kwa nini ameniambia hivyo. Haoni bado mimi ni mdogo na sina hii story kama hizi, of which it also made me like yani by that time I was saying like in future if God gives me a daughter I'll never say such a thing to my daughter. I'll tell my daughter this, but I'll find the right way to tell her or sit her down, tell her you are now at this age and this is what happens, instead of like telling me you have some things on your chest, right? No such thing. So
what did she say?
She told me, saizi umeanza kumeamea tumatiti hapa, unaanza ujiachilie hapa, utapata tu mimba hivi karibuni, ingia in your periods, vitu kama hiyo. Kitu iliniuma serious. Nikaa chini nikajiuliza, kwani amenifikiria ninafanya ama anafikiria ninafanya ama nini. And unaona life yangu was school, church, Saturday. Hiyo Saturday tumeenda practice. When you finish practice, si mnaosha church ndio mtoke. Unaona bado ukienda utaambiwa some things. Unaona? Okay, kuna vitu tu zilini hit pale. Kasema, or maybe because she's not my mom ama ni nini.
At that point unakaa na your aunt?
Nakaa sasa na yeye. Sasa
how is she your aunt?
Mimi nilimuitanga auntie tu.
Oh, the woman that took.
Yes, that to aunt. So mimi nikawa stressed, nilianza kuwa na stress sana, hivyo nikawa na stress. So one day I decided to run away. So when I ran away, nilikuwa nalala kwa hizi nyumba hazijaisha, leo hapa kesho hapa, but still naona nakosea na naona na shule. Sasa
church
tena najiuliza na church.
Hakukuwa na mtu wa kanisani ungeenda umwambie ama ukimbilie kwake?
Sasa unajua ningewaambia, wangemuambia tu. Wangemuuliza. Wamuulize ikuwe tu story, ikuwe tena another story. It's like umetoa mambo umeenda kupeleka kwa mambo ya huyu, umepeleka kwa huyu, na sasa sijui watareact aje. So I met some of my friends.
So meaning that haukuwa unaenda hata kanisani ama?
Sasa hilo nilitoka. Okay, venye nilitoka si kuenda church. Sasa hiyo venye nilitoka kwake, sasa singeenda church juu si the same church. Si kuenda, but na cha kushangaza ni kwamba nilikuwa nalala tu hiyo church. Cause ilikuwa ya mabati, ya mbao. Naenda nafanya tu hivi, naingia na lala. Asubuhi natoka. So nikamit friends wangu wenye tulikuwa nao pia walikuwa naishi hizo areas. Tumekuwa kwa wakubwa. And their mother hakuwa nafungia mtu kienda, na since walikuwa natujua, so hawangenifukuza. But you see what they are doing, it's different from venye uko. So they used to call me pastor. Because I told God, even if I'm not going to church, because even one of them asked me, "Sir Sophie, now that you're here, how are you going to concentrate on your mambo ya kanisa, nini? Like, how feel kama kuna shida?" Okay, nikamwambia, you are my friends, but I don't have to do what you're doing. Na mimi ndio najua what I'm going through instead. Okay, they were into like me. I thought that is when I saw like into smoking or everything, drinking. Okay, walikuwa washajua about men. Yeah.
So umetoka kwa huyu mama ambaye is your aunt now. Then umeenda kuishi na wao. They are not going to church, but you are a church person.
Yes. Okay. So ilikuwa inanifanya ni feel guilty, but pia ninajiuliza at the same time, if I show them like nitajitenga na wao, okay, then you will not be portraying Christ, because Christ hajasema usiongee na watu. But what you need to do, you're not supposed to do what the worldly people are doing.
So let me get this straight. Kule kwa auntie, ulitoka juu umefeel amekwambia, umefeel vibaya bila amekwambia sasa you are in your puberty, adolescent also, na unaweza ku get pregnant. So hiyo imetrigger anger.
Okay, there was a lot since nikigrow too, that I don't want to like say much. But there was a lot. Ndio ifike to that point, you can imagine me when I saw my periods, I never told anyone. I even never said to her. I stayed in the bathroom from 9 to 3. Kwa sasa naona ile kitu alikuwa ananiambia ndio hii ama si hii. Okay, niko naota ama sioti, mpaka naambia Mungu it can't be, and I don't know how it has come.
So in your mind you thought seeing your periods was...
Sasa kama aliniambia tumatiti tumetokelezea kwa kifua, what about this one nikienda kumwambia? Sasa sijui zitakuwa wasi. Na ndio like nimesoma shule, nimeambiwa msichana na kuwa hivi na hivi na hivi. Sasa nikashindwa mpaka kuongea, si kusema. Nikanyamaza, but sasa najiuliza pads nitatoa wapi? Na I knew kuna pads. Nilijua kuna kuanga na pads because even there was a time kulikuwa na wageni kwa nyumba. Mtu akasahau kibeti yake, nikaona pads, nikasema aya. Na hizi ni nini? Okay, mimi nilikuwa naona like periods ni kitu ingine ya kiajabu, ni kitu ingine sijui nitai-explain aje.
So now umeenda umekaa na wao, they are doing all these things. How did that affect your life?
Okay, for me I can say it never affected my life because they were there for me. And they never forced me to do anything. And even if I could feel like the mother, maybe the parent, one of the parents could be uncomfortable, ama atauliza huyu msichana kwa nini anafanya nini hapa kwa hii nyumba. Okay, that is when nilikuwa naenda na lala church. Ama naenda na lala hapo tu nearby. Kulikuwa na nyumba bado zilikuwa zime nini. And my mom akaanza sasa kunitafuta pia. Huko nasikia ananitafuta. But sasa nikasema siwezi mface kwanza. So tukaendelea kukaa tu na wao, na nikikosa place ya kulala naenda tu hivyo na lala tu kwa hizo, ama tunaenda tu mahali nakaa, or I go visit some of my school friends. Tunapiga story, anakuambia acha nikuzindikishe.
So hauko unaenda shule?
Okay, sasa hiyo sasa siendi.
Umeacha shule, unakaa na hao marafiki zako, na kanisa?
Siendi.
Kanisa.
Juu hata I remember one of kuna parent moja, I went to her place. I only stayed there for like 2 days. Akaanza kukasirika, akaanza kupigia mtoto wake makelele. So mimi hata nilisikia nikiwa kitchen, nikiwa naosha tu vyombo. So nikaona hata sitashinda nikimwambia anything, hakuna haja niletee huyu msichana shida. So nikatoka nikarudi tu kwa ule unaona anisomei, hanipigii makelele, haniambii kitu, anaacha mkanga na achia watoto wake chakula, yeye anaenda. Na akiona hata hauko, anauliza kwani your friend alienda?
Na how long did you stay there?
Kuna hao. Actually tuliishi tu mpaka sasa my late sister ndiye alikuja na mama. She came crying and she told me, Sophia, unaacha shule? And she was good. Alikuwa mpole sana, na nilikuwa namsikia, because even I remember in church when we went to crusade in Taita, she's the one who sacrificed like the money that wangetumia kwa nyumba ameachiwa na husband, akaninunulia viatu Miss Crusade. So singekosa kumsikia. Akaniambia basi, I told them if I have to go back, I'll go back to my mom's place, but si huko kwingine. So I went to my mom's. Went back to my mom. So nilikaa for some time na nikarudi. The headmaster also was looking for me. So nikarudi. So vile nilirudi, nikajoin pia football. So kuna this Maisa, don't know if you have, hapo nilijoin pia. So tukiwa tunacheza tu huko Maisa. That is how I met the father of my children. Yeah.
Viewers, we are going on a short break, but before we do, we want to acknowledge our sponsors today, which is High Step TV and High Step Media. Kindly reach them through their social media handles, which are High Step TV on YouTube, High Step TV on Facebook, and High Step TV on Instagram. If you are in need of any video coverage, be it an occasion, wedding, birthday parties, live coverage, whatever it is, they're the best people to reach. Also, a big shout out to the people who've dressed me today, who are Kibalis. Reach them on their social media platforms, which is Kibalis on Instagram, Kibalis on Facebook, and like their pages. Asante sana.
This is High Step Media Production.
Je, wewe ni msanii na ungependa kuchukua hatua kabambe katika kuboresha usanii wako? Je, wewe ni msanii mpya usiyejua utaanza vipi katika kufanikisha usanii wako? Je, wahitaji kufanyiwa video za harusi, matukio, dokumentari, au pia kutengenezewa filamu na kupigwa picha? High Step Media ina majibu kwa masuala haya yote kwa bei rahisi. Tutembelee pale Homeland au wasiliana nasi kwa njia ya simu kupitia nambari 0706299166. Karibu.
Kazi yao wanafanya ni kazi nzuri sana. Nimefurahia sana kazi ambao wanafanya.
Come to High Step Media Production. You never know, you can be a star of tomorrow.
Step Media kwanza wana upendo, ni wakarimu sana. Na kama ni wakarimu ndio maana tumefika hapa tumefika.
Akaniambia ukipata bora warudishe the 13,000. So zile zenye mkatari amenitoa nazo Kenya zirudishwe. Nikamwambia sawa. In fact akaniambia since you've been here nitakukatia mpaka 7,000. So wewe kama utapata sponsor arudishe hizi pesa. Nikaanza sasa kutafuta. Kuingia kwa hizo website, kazi ziko hivi. Zimechana, they are genuine. Na unaona British family, Canadian family. So tena Wakenya wengine wakakuja wakamwagwa huko. So nikamwambia kuna haja kwenda, home jobs ndio hizi. So I was doing the interview. Kuna mahali nilipelekwa, kukawa kijana anakutaka na mzee anakutaka. Wewe kama mwanamke, wewe umepitia changamoto, utafanya nini? Kuna venye unaona ni mwanamke, huwezi mfanyia venye wewe mwenyewe huwezi taka kufanyiwa. Anakutaka
Kijana wake pia anakutaka.
Yes.
You're watching High Step TV.